This is part 2 of 100 Days as an Engineer in Minecraft's Industrial Revolution. Throughout these 10 days, I'll be advancing my tech, continuing my village, and obtaining brand new armors. And all of this based around the most popular crafting add-on mod, Immersive Engineering, as well as Techtopia and Tinker's Construct. No time to like or subscribe? Let's get into the video. When I spawned into the world on day 10, I immediately went to sleep. On day 11, I went to the nearby spruce forest to gather some wood. Once there, I chopped a few trees and returned home. Back at my base, I added more wood to my town hall as it was looking a little 2D last episode. After adding the wood, I began to work on my next machine, the sawmill. To make the sawmill, I needed more creosote oil, so I went to my coal coke oven to gather more. The sawmill would allow me to get 6 planks out of each log instead of the normal 4. Plus, it would give me sawdust, which can be used as paper. To make the sawmill, I needed to make an engineer's workbench. This workbench is used with blueprints to make special crafting components. After making the workbench, I placed it and crafted some blueprints to make springs. With those springs, I was able to make mechanical engineering blocks. Then, after placing them in a very certain pattern, I finally had my sawmill. The sawmill needed a saw, so that was the first thing I crafted on day 12. Then I crafted a wheel, which would transfer power to my sawmill. Next, I made a transmission. This would take rotary power from a windmill and output it to a wheel, which I could then connect via a motor belt to my sawmill. After placing the transmission and setting it to an input, I connected my windmill. After placing the windmill, I grabbed a lumberjack token from my town hall. I then right-clicked on a wandering nomad with it and was able to turn it into a lumberjack. The lumberjack would chop trees for me and drop the wood off in a storage building. After watching the lumberjack, I harvested my industrial hemp field. And when I returned to my chests, I crafted a cloth motor belt. I connected it to my sawmill and windmill, and the saw roared to life. I then went to bed as I didn't want my villager to die to hostile mobs. The next day, I used the wood from my sawmill to keep building my town hall. Then I began work on my storage building. The storage building I wanted to make needed too many materials, so I had to build a small cobblestone shack in place of the real building. The storage building is where my villagers would drop off their items once they collect them. Once I placed the item frame and the storage marker, I added more blocks onto my town hall. Twice. Then I went to gather some oak wood from the forest. I planted a couple days ago to help finish my town hall and eventually make some houses for the villagers. After putting the wood I gathered into my sawmill, I gave my lumberjack an iron axe so he could keep chopping trees, and I added more materials onto my town hall. I then gathered a bunch of planks for my sawmill and, as routine, added it to my town hall. I had been hearing strange noises coming from the roof of my town hall, so I went up there to spawn-proof it. Since my villager had no home, I tried to push him into my storage building, but a zombie showed up and he ran away. I grabbed more wood from my sawmill and I decided enough is enough. I shoved my villager into my storage room and began work on making a house for him. With the building gadgets mod, I needed to clear out every block where I was going to paste in my building, including the grass and rocks from the no tree punching mod. After clearing the area, I pasted in part of my villager's house. I made a windmill sail for my windmill, as it would speed up the speed of my windmill, turning into more speed for my sawmill. I then collected a bunch of sand to make glass, and added even more blocks to my villager's house. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I thought this was kind of annoying, just collecting wood and adding it to my village structures. But this is nothing compared to days 15 to 17, aka the nether days. I grabbed a bunch of coal coke from my oven and then tried to kill a very beefy zombie. These zombies have juggernaut armor, making them pretty much invincible. My villager was being harassed by a zombie, so I ran over and stopped him from dying. I added more to my villager's house and looked at how close it was to being finished. I then began building my nether portal. Let the nether days commence. Once I made it to the nether, I looked around to try and find a nether fortress. These are very rare as the Biomes O'Plenty mod makes many biomes spawn, reducing the amount of fortresses that can spawn. Alternatively to finding another fortress, I could find an obsidian pillar with the blaze lantern. Under the Blaze Lantern, a Blaze spawner would be there, and using the Carry On mod, I could pick up the spawner and take it back with me to the overworld. However, I died. Once I made it back to my stuff, I tried to use gravel to easily take me down. It failed, but I survived with 1 heart. I spent quite a while looking around the nether to try and find a blaze spawner. I needed blaze powder to make my next machine, the blast furnace. This furnace would allow me to make steel from coal and iron. I finally located a blaze spawner, but I was out of thirst and was taking tons of damage. I had no choice but to run back to the overworld. Once I made it back to the overworld, I grabbed some water and had to go right back through the nether portal. This prompted some suffering, including almost rage quitting multiple times. You ready? Let's get started. I bridged over to the blaze spawner, only to realize I was too low to grab the spawner successfully. I had to fight a few blazes, only to be forced to run back to the overworld. I grabbed some water and went back to the nether. This time I escaped with 1 heart left. I grabbed water again and did something. Seriously, my notes for this said something and relaxed. I don't know what I was doing, but this did not look like relaxing. Anyways, once I was done relaxing, I went back to the nether. I was in the nether for a total of about 5 seconds before a zombie pigman soldier with a rifle kicked me out, and it followed me into the overworld. I had to kill it as it would have killed me, but it took a minute. Here's a clip. I got a few good crits on the guy before I had to run. He was able to shoot me while I was fighting the zombie and I got low. Yes, that pile of stuff by the door was my dead villager. A zombie had ambushed him while he was leaving the town hall. Using my door evasion tactics, I was able to kill the pigman soldier, only losing my one and only villager. I had to go back into the nether, unfortunately, where I bridged over to the blaze spawner. I got the blaze lamp, but wasn't quick enough to grab the spawner. I almost died in the process. I was running back to the portal when my sweeping edge hit a zombie pigman, killing me again. I made it back to the overworld where I gathered water and had to go back into the nether. At this point, I went back and got the spawner. But when I was getting back to the overworld, I died. I ran back and got my stuff and the spawner and finally made it to the overworld, spawner in hand. But while killing blazes, some skeletons killed me. I put the blaze spawner in the river and went back to get my stuff. After getting my stuff, I made a blaze box and was able to kill enough blazes to get the blaze rods I needed. After getting the blaze rods, I put the spawner back into the river. I finished the villager houses, but it was too late. Rest in peace, lumberjack. To fill in the house, I hired a farmer. I also made some blast brick and began building my blast furnace to make steel. But disaster struck, and invasion started. And I ended up hiding in a cave all night. When killing a skeleton the next morning, it dropped a red heart. These can be used to give yourself extra hearts. Speaking of hearts, my villager made 1 last night. These can be used to spawn a child. I finished the blast furnace shortly afterward, allowing me to make steel. I put coal coke and some iron in the furnace and it roared to life. I spent most of the day gathering seared brick to make a smeltery from Tinker's Construct. After making my smeltery controller, all I needed was a tank. This required another nether trip, and well, I kinda had to retreat. And without magma cream. So I spent a while gathering resources and had to go right back into the nether. But this time was no different, although I was able to get magma cream. I'll use this time to thank you for watching thus far. I appreciate all of your support. I'm only able to make these videos because of you, so thank you guys, truly, from the bottom of my heart. Once I made it back to the overworld, I crafted my smeltery tank and placed it down. This began the mad scramble to get my new armor done in time. I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but I needed to make a tool station, a stencil table, and a casting table. I made a stone chestplate core and covered it in gold, making me a chestplate cast. I poured some iron into the cast, and I had my chestplate core. I've repeated this process for all of the remaining armor pieces I needed, including armor plates, armor boots and leggings, and armor trims. I'm going to use this time to tell you about a giveaway I have going on in my Discord server. I'm giving away 2 months of an Xbox Ultimate subscription for free. Just join my Discord server. Finally, I got a brand new iron chestplate. If there's anything you think I should change about this mod pack or my videos, please let me know in the comments section. And I finally made myself the boots, and shortly thereafter, the leggings. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I couldn't have done it without your support. If you want to play this mod pack for yourself with others, join my Discord server and public Minecraft server, or have fun going solo. Thank you and see you next time.